the colorway I've picked this month is Zombody's Going to Rhinebeck. This Somebody is not going to Rhinebeck, but I thought it would be fun to start these socks. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen. I am the maker behind DoSo Knits, this little corner of the internet where I share with you guys how knitting and other fiber crafts have woven into my life. Today is episode 57 of my knitting video podcast, where I share with you guys everything that I've been working on, all the projects that I've finished, acquisitions, and all of that kind of fun stuff as well. Today is the first episode of September, which means for the year of Stash KAL, I will be drawing a random winner, and that'll be at the end of the episode. So if you are participating in that knit along, it's really a make along, but the hashtag is knit along. Make sure to stick around, or at least check that out to see if you are the winner of that. But before we get into some of the knitting, I do have a little admin at the beginning. Just so you know, if you'd like to follow me other places, I am DoSo Knits here on Instagram, Ravelry, and YouTube. That's here. And I did have a giveaway in the last episode. And so you just had to leave a comment and make sure you are subscribed to the channel to be entered to win. It's for this skein of Deza Vista Dye Works yarn. And I have pulled the random winner from that. I loved reading all of you guys' comments about your vacations, like vacations you have taken, vacations you will take. And the winner for this that last episode was T2 Knit and Crochet. And they talked a little bit about a vacation where they stayed in a little cabin, and it was just quaint and beautiful, and that's a perfect kind of vacation. So if you are T2 Knit and Crochet, please send me an email. It's linked in the description box. It's DoSoKnits@gmail.com, and send me your shipping information and I will get this prize sent out to you. And that's really all of the admin I have for you guys today. So we'll just move into the finished objects that I have to share. So I mentioned in my last episode how I wanted to start doing this knitting marathon, knitting sprint kind of thing that I heard from Knit 365. And I have implemented that, and guys, this like knitting marathon is kind of how I'm thinking about it, has been a game changer. So I want to talk to you a little bit about kind of what I've implemented. So what I'm doing is like a 4x4. So I'm doing 4 projects, and I do them for 4 hours each time. And I just use like an app on my phone. The app I use is called Boosted. And so what you can do is I label my project, and then what sprint I'm on, that's what I call my 4-hour session. It's really not a sprint considering it's 4 hours long, and I'm not like trying to finish quickly. But I basically will just work on one project until I hit that 4-hour mark. Usually it spans a couple of days. And then once I hit that 4-hour mark, I put that project at the end of my 4 projects that I'm working on, and I start working on the second project. Work on it for 4 hours, start working on the third, and then the fourth. And so that's what I've done over the last couple weeks, and I really love this system. It's 4 hours for me is a perfect median of I can see how much project progress I'm making. Like I feel like I can make a good dent. I also like that I don't necessarily have to think about what project I'm going to pick up when I sit down to knit and kind of relax. I know which one I'm going to work on. And 4 hours is just that sweet spot where longer I can start feeling itchy about my other projects. So once I hit around that 4-hour mark, I'm ready to start switching to something else. I really enjoyed it. So I worked on multiple different projects during this, and so those are my main projects that I work on at home, and then I do have like a sock or something that's easy for on the go. And so that's where I can kind of alternate. If I'm really not feeling, if I'm at like 3 hours and I have 1 more hour to go, I can work on my sock or my easy project in tandem, but I can't switch between these 4 until I finish that 4 hours. So it does also help where it's like, okay, well, I only have to do one more hour and then I'm allowed to switch projects. So it kind of has like a little bit of internal motivation in that as well. But yeah, it really helped me finish a project. So the first thing I have to show you is my finished festival sweater, my size, by Petite Knit. I did 2 of my sprint sessions on this and I was so close to finishing. I think I just had the ribbing left. And so I ended up doing extra time before switching projects in order to finish this sweater. And so I've blocked it and I'm done. So I did Knit Picks palette for the main color and then a natural merino for the contrast. It was, Knit Picks palette is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. It's a fingering weight, but this is a DK weight sweater, so I held it double to get that DK weight. And I blocked it in my Tuft Woolens and it smells so good. And this is kind of what it looks like. For the folded over collar, you're supposed to like pick up and knit it together. I did not enjoy doing that, so what I ended up doing is I just sewed it down instead of like knitting it together, which I will probably do every time. I do not like trying to pick up and knit them together. I would much rather just fold it over and just whip stitch it together. So I did make that modification, and then the other modification I did is I added bust darts, which is why one of these little stripes in the back, you can see this one, it's a little closer because there's a little extra room in the front. And then the only other modification is my ribbing on both my sleeves and the bottom ribbing are a bit shorter. I did the sleeves first, I knit them first, and to, you know, I was like, well, this is the length that I need. I shortened the ribbing a little bit, so I had the ribbing on the body match, which I like it. I think the length is perfect. So for the main color, I used 526 grams, and then for the contrast, I used 83 grams. So I definitely overbought on this Knit Picks palette. I have some in my D-stash, but I'm so happy with this, with the fit and everything. It feels like a really comfortable sweatshirt, and I think the little baubles are just so cute. I will be taking this back off because it is hot. Our house is comfortable, but it's definitely not cool enough to wear like a wool sweater right now. I will definitely probably like wear this at night when we're in the basement. It's just comfortable and cozy, and with it being washed in my Tuft Woolens, it smells so good. So I'm really happy that this like knitting sprint helped me finish this sweater. And that's kind of the bottom ribbing, and then that's that shorter stripe in the back, and you can see kind of here how this one kind of spreads out. So I did short row bust darts using the DoSoKnits bust dart method, and I love this sweater. So that has been finished, and that was 12 skeins of yarn out of my stash this month, which makes me really happy. I think I bought the amount of yardage I would need if I did the sweater full length. I do crop my sweaters just a little bit, not like super cropped, but I have a shorter torso than an average torso, so I don't need as much yarn to get the same length. And yeah, I don't really have much else to say with this. It was knit with a US 7 and a US 4, and I'm done. The sprints really helped me finish it. I did 2 cycles, and after that second one, because I was so close, I was like, I'm just gonna stick on this project and I'm gonna finish it. The tubular bind off on the bottom is worth it, but man, does it take a long time. But it's so nice. So I just did this during the F1 race the last weekend. The bind off, literally, I did the bind off during the race and I didn't even finish it. But I really, really am happy this is done, and I'm itching to get another sweater on the needles. which we'll talk about a little bit later. But I do have some other finished objects to show you too. If you remember in my last episode, I told how August I wanted to be the month of finishing my socks, and I'm happy to report I finished all of my socks for August. I finished 5 pairs of socks. 4 of them were carryover projects and 1 was a brand new cast on, which that is my first one, is my new cast on. These are my Desert Vista Dye Works socks for the Desert Vista Dye Works knit along. I used the color Beach Rocks, held it double to get a DK sock, and then the cuff and heel are in the color Charcoal, also held double. I did a shadow wrap heel for these and a 2x2 cuff, and then I did not do a contrast toe. So I finished these. These are for me, and I'm very excited that these are done. This is one of my favorite Desert Vista Dye Works colorways, and I do not regret doing a DK sock at all. Definitely helped with making sure I can get them done with all of the other socks I was trying to complete. And then the other socks I finished are my Advent in July socks. So these use my Cozy Knitter Advent from 2021, the Advent skein. I did these toe up with an afterthought heel. So all I did is I knit the 24 colors, and I didn't do a contrast rib. I just did the last 3 colors in the 2x2 rib and then a stretchy bind off. And then I used some scrap yarn to do an afterthought heel. I did 60 stitches for these, and these socks are for my mom. So I will be putting them in my box of things that will be sent for Christmas time. And yeah, those are done. Very happy these are done. These took longer than I anticipated. I did really enjoy knitting the afterthought heel. I haven't done one of those in a very long time, and I could see myself doing more. I really like the contrast color I picked for the heel. It's like a light tan, not white, but not brown. And I think it looks really nice. I don't know the colorway name. It's just some stuff I had in my scrap drawer. These are not blocked, so they do look a little wonky. I apologize, but I finished all of my socks in August, and I'm so happy to be coming into September with a clean slate of socks. So with that, I wanted to show you the socks that I'll be casting on for September. The colorway I've picked this month is Zombody's Going to Rhinebeck. This Somebody is not going to Rhinebeck, but I thought it would be fun to start these socks. They're like beautiful fall colors, and with the Crazy Sock Lady is hosting a like autumn spooky make along, and this reminds me of fall, and I want to knit these socks to go along with that part of the make along. So I'm unsure what kind of socks I'm going to do for myself yet. Figure I'll just cast on and see how it goes. Initially I was planning to do a pair of socks for my stepdad, but I've actually put all of my Desert Vista Dye Works socks into little baggies, labeled them 1 to 6, and then I used a random number generator to pick which color I was knitting this month. And this was like, there are 2 colors in there. The Grinch socks are for Shane, and this Somebody sock was for me. So no socks for Lee this month. These socks are for me. Maybe whichever month, whatever color I pull next that's not the Grinch color will be for Lee. But so all that to say, I was planning to knit socks for him, and I had a plan. I was going to do toe up afterthought heel socks, but for me, I'm not as big of a fan for afterthought for myself. So I'll probably be doing top down. I don't know if I'll do a contrast heel yet or not. That's really the only question. So these will be for me. You'll see them next time, or if you follow me on Instagram, you'll probably see them before next time. But after I finish recording this, I will be caking that up and starting those socks. And yeah, those are all of my those are all my finished objects that I have to share. So we will move into what I've been working on. So like I said, I've been trying to keep 4 projects on for my 4x4 sprint. So the 4 current projects that I have right now for my marathons or sprints are my Attune Shawl, my Summer Saunter, my Pure Joy, and a pair of socks that I will be starting for Hookah Canyon. They are the Feather Tail socks. They're inspired by Fourth Wing. I have the yarn ready to go, but I was waiting to cast them on today when it comes up next in the sprint. So I will be casting that on also after this episode. So I want to show you the project that has moved into my on-the-go kind of knitting. It wasn't a sprint, and this is a newborn vertebrae, which I am knitting for my future little nephew. I started this as I did 4 hours on it in a sprint, and then when it came up in the rotation this time for the 4-hour sprint, I was like, I don't want to work on that for 4 hours. Plus, it's now at the point where it's easy, so I can take it on the go, and it's small. So let me show you where it's at. It's so tiny. So this is it. Look at the little, if I hold it like this, it looks like a shirt for me. That might be the thumbnail. A sweater for me or a sweater for a baby? It is definitely a sweater for a baby, but movie magic. Okay, sorry. Anyway, so for the first 4-hour sprint, I did the increases, I did the raglans, and it's now on waste yarn. And so now, until it's done, I basically just have to knit back and forth until the length is good. And then I'll be doing the bottom ribbing. And then on the front, you pick up all around and do that little, the like shawl ribbing. So this is my on-the-go project. So as much as I will be starting these socks, this is what's gonna get finished first, and it's gonna be what's on the go, and then those other socks will be on deck after this. So the newborn vertebrae is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's made so that like the baby can have like skin to skin with you, or skin to skin with the mom and the dad. Plus also it's very open in the front, so if the baby spits up or anything, it doesn't necessarily get it on the clothes, but it can be like thrown on baby to like keep little baby warm. So I started this in a green because their like theme is like woodland and foxes, and I just thought this green would look so cute. I actually pulled out a couple different skeins and I asked Shane for his opinion. So as much as like I'm making things for the baby, both things that I've made, the blanket, I had Shane pick the color. I picked like 3 different options, and then he picked the final color, and it was the same with this, where I picked 3 options and Shane picked the final color. So that's like Shane's input for the baby, is he picks the final color. So it's so cute. But this yarn, I don't have the label, but it's Craft Nut Yarns. My friend Heather dyed this, and it's the colorway Katniss Evergreen. She gifted me this yarn, and I love the beautiful variation of the green, and I just thought it would be perfect. And since it's superwash and nylon, it's going to be perfect because they can wash it, and the variation in here is just so pretty. It looks more solid on the screen, but even when I'm knitting it up, there's like just that slight variation of a hand dyed. Even a tonal is just so pretty. So I will be working on this, like I said, on the go. It's just knit back and forth now, so it's definitely been really great practice for my purling. And it's knit on a US 3, so it's not too tiny. It's still like nice and airy, but not too dense. And I really like it. It's so cute. It's so cute and so tiny. And so right now it's just in one of my Mountain State Stitches bags. I paired the green with the green. And so that's the first work in progress. It was in my sprint queue, but now it has been moved now that it's not really a focus project. When I was doing the increases, that 4 hours was good, but it was definitely, I was getting close to that 4 hour mark and was like, I am ready to be, I want to work on other projects at home. So this one is good for on the go. But then we can move into what else I've been sprinting on. So the first one is my Summer Saunter by Samantha Guerin. I have made such good progress on this. This is a DK weight drop shoulder V-neck t-shirt, and ta-da! I am on the bottom ribbing. So if you saw on my Instagram, I posted yesterday that I tried it on, but it's ready for my bottom ribbing. So this bottom ribbing on this, it's not like a 2x2 rib. It's actually a bottom hem. So I'm gonna knit half of it, do a purl round, and then knit the other half, and it'll be a fold over kind of stockinette hem at the bottom. I've literally done one round of it, so you can't really tell yet, but I still have quite a lot more to go on this. So I still have about 3 inches or so of hem, and then I'll have both the sleeves, which is the same idea, where it'll be a folded over kind of hem, not a traditional ribbing. And then there's a really pretty like lace yarn over kind of pickup for the V-neck that I still have to do. I'm on my 4th skein of 6, and this yarn is K&C yarn from Joann. It's 100% cotton. It's a DK weight. I've really loved working on this. So I started this at beginning of August. I took it when we went to Las Vegas, and I've now done 2 additional sprints on it. But it's really easy now. It's just stockinette in the round, and I'm really actually pretty happy that the bottom hem is just more stockinette. I know it might be a little cumbersome to like knit double, but I think that weight of having a folded over hem will help keep this, you know, I think it'll help it lay really nicely. And I'm just excited to just keep stockinette in the round, honestly. And like I said, with my like folded over neckline, I really don't mind like whip stitching my collars or edges down. So I'm pretty excited about that. On this project, I have been using my numbered row counter because I was doing waist shaping. I was doing increases for waist shaping every 26 rounds, and that really helped with this. And now I'm using it to count my rounds for the ribbing as well. It has fallen off just now because I've dropped some stitches, so I'm gonna fix those, and we're gonna go roughly here. I always knit on a much smaller circumference needle than what my actual circumference is, so it's always a little risky when I record. So yeah, that's basically what I have to show. I basically just knit most of the body since last time, but I'm still really loving this, and it's still going to be hot here in Denver for a little bit longer, so I'm hoping I can, we'll see how much I can get done on my next 4-hour sprint. I definitely still have quite a bit more to do, especially since both the bottom hem and the sleeve cuff hems are going to be folded over. It's going to take a little bit longer, but like the trade-off of like knitting ribbing versus stockinette, how much longer is it really going to be? Who knows? This is a great project. I'm loving the DK, and definitely since I bought 2 more quantities, one of these I think will be a Tolsta because I'm itching to cast something else on. but I can see myself knitting another summer Saunter. I really do like a drop shoulder. I think it fits nicely and I'm excited about it. So then the next thing in my sprint queue is my Attune Shawl, which is by Andrea Mowry. I've done 2 sprints on this as well. So I've added a bit of length to it, and this actually fits on the needle that it's on. So this is knit with a US 4, and this is where I'm at. So I won't spend too much time on it, but I'm loving this broken fisherman's rib side. It's so pretty. I love my color pairing. And then this is the brioche side. So this main color here is Hedgehog Fibers DK in the color Pet Rock. This is the label. It is 100% merino. And then the other side is my Malabrigo Nube, which I hand spun. And the colorway is called Mandragora. So that is my hand spun, and then it's striped on this side. I'm on repeat, I think I'm on repeat 12, and there's about 20 to 25 repeats before the next section. Each repeat is about 8 rows. It's technically 4 rows, but it's 4 rows of each color, and I've learned those 8 rows take me about 1 hour. So I did repeats like 5 to 8 in my first sprint, and I did repeats 9 to 12 in my second sprint. So I have at least, so let's see, 16, 20, 2 more sprints at least, maybe 3 before I even switch to the next section. And the rows are all getting longer, so I still have at least 12 hours on this shawl to go. But I really love when I knit on this, and honestly this is one of the ones where that 4 hours flies and it's almost hard to put it down. So I'm still working on this. I've made decent progress. I'll give you a nice close-up. I really love how my hand spun is combining with this color, and I love how squishy it is. I love this texture so much. Like this in this like stripe pattern in like a garment would be beautiful. So that's this shawl. I've done decent progress on it. I love working on it. I feel like I've gotten a very good understanding of the repeats. It is one that I always have like my row counters with, because it's not one I can necessarily read, but I know what the repeats are when like if I have my row counter, I know what row I'm doing without having to look at the pattern, but I do need that like tally mark of what I'm doing. So that is the second thing that I've really sprinted on. And then the third thing that I've picked up, this is my Pure Joy by Joji Locatelli. I have started this a long time ago, and I'm finally circling back to it because I needed something to fill in my sprints, and I've done a really good amount on this. I'm gonna put it on a barber cord really quick. Alrighty, so I popped it on a barber cord because it is really scrunched on my needles. But this is a pattern by Joji Locatelli. It is a fingering weight shawl, and this is where I'm at. So that little marker is by Simply Serving. That's where I was when I picked it up. But I did this whole wedge, and then I have started doing this next short row wedge. My main color is Needles at the Ready Apollo in the color Cool Mint. I love the variation in this color. And then my contrast color is Neighborhood Fiber Company Rustic Fingering in the color Edgewood. So I've done 1 sprint on this, and in that time I was able to do 1 wedge and like a wedge. I'm almost done with this wedge. So after this, and this is kind of what it looks like, spread out edge to edge. This is the shape of the shawl. So after this wedge, I will have one more mint wedge to do, and then I will have a section in my contrast color, and then this is done. So it's all garter stitch. It's so easy to work on. The little blue is in like its eyelets, but it's so fun. It's really easy to work on, and it's cool. Like I said, it's cool to see this is 4 hours worth of work. So it's not a ton when you think like, oh, 4 hours is a long time, but it did grow. And, you know, I worked on it for those 4 hours, and now I feel ready to move on to something else, but I will feel like it's exciting to see how much I can get done in those 4 hours. So I've really enjoyed this. I'm glad I've picked it back up. I don't foresee many more sprints are going to be needed on this. Like, I'm honestly thinking after the next 4 hours, depending how much I get done, I may just push through to try to finish this project. We'll see how close it is, obviously, and what's next up on the queue. But yeah, I'm really loving this, like, work on something for at least 4 hours. It gives me like a mini goal to hit each time, and I like seeing how much progress I can make in that time frame. The other thing the 4 hour sprints have helped me do is kind of pick up some other projects, which was something I was kind of hoping would happen. Well, it's helping with two things. I'd like to keep my 4x4. I think that feels nice and even. Obviously they're even numbers and I'm working on them for an even amount of time, but it feels obtainable. I feel like it's a good amount of projects. I'm excited to see. I did swatch for a sweater because since I finished a sweater, I want to start another sweater, and I'm feeling a little antsy. I had swatched for a sweater for Shane, and the gauge was like so off. I swatched for the Gib 2, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. My gauge was so far off, and honestly doing the swatch, I was like, I do not like knitting this stitch pattern. That stitch pattern is 75% pearls. So wasn't enjoying that. And I applied to test knit another sweater, so I'm kind of waiting to hear back if I'm going to get accepted for that. And that if I do get accepted, I will be testing a sweater, and that'll be a sweater for Shane. But if I don't get accepted, I may be starting another. I may start a Tolsta with my cotton. I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit in limbo, so that's why I ended up pulling out that Pure Joy to work on. Because I think ideally what I'd like to do is if I could have 2 sweaters on the needles, a shawl, and then that 4th one can kind of, you know, it can alternate between like smaller one-skein projects, etc. But I think I would like to have 2 sweaters on the needles. So, all that to say, it has allowed me to kind of work on some other projects if I'm not wanting to work on my current 4-hour sprint. So, I bought this needlepoint kit, and I've loved working on this. So, this is a kit from Unwind Studio, and needlepoint is like a plastic grid that is printed with the design, and then you do different stitch patterns to fill in your design. So I got this from Fancy Tiger Crafts, and this is the amount that I've done. I'm doing like a padded cross here, a half cross stitch here, and then like a lined pattern here. This is the first time I've done needlepoint. You use cotton thread, and it's all, you don't break the strands apart like you do in cross stitch. But this is so lovely. I love this, and it's been great to pick up and put down. So this is in one of my Stolen Minutes medium-sized bags. Stolen Minutes medium-sized zipper bags are perfect for embroidery. this is my go-to embroidery kind of bag. Any type of hand stitching. So I've picked this up a couple times. It doesn't look like much has gotten done, but there's been hours of work on this. But it's so nice because I don't have to like reference a pattern or anything. I just have to cut some thread, stitch away, and it's been lovely. I've really, really enjoyed working on this, and I think I'm doing a pretty decent job for my first one. And like I mentioned, this is by Unwind Studio. They have so many cute kits. There are so many of these that I want. But this has been lovely to work on. And then I have my needle minder on here that was in my Yarnable box last time. It's very strong and really lovely, and I've really loved working on this. But additionally, I've also picked up some of my spinning. I have finished a couple bobbins, and I'll show them to you. So this is my Malabrigo Nube. This is what it looks like in the braid. This is the color Mostaza. So I originally started spinning this because I thought if I ran out of handspun for my Attune Shawl that this could be my contrasting color. And then I started spinning it, and when I saw it in this, I thought it was going to be definitely more browns and oranges. And then when I'm like doing a little bit of prep, you know, breaking this down, spreading the fibers out, pre-drafting, because this is really like compacted in the braid. I was like, this is definitely way more green. So this is what's going to be my contrasting color for my tessellated pullover. And I pulled out all the skeins of what I think, and I haven't even pulled, this is the first time I'm looking at all three of these together, but this is what I'm thinking for my tessellated pullover. Oh, I think this will be pretty. So the wool of the Andes here is going to be my main color. This is going to be my spin cycle sub, and then this is my fuzz. So it's like a greeny brown, and I think they all coordinate, and I think it's going to be really pretty. I am becoming a like hand spun project spinner. So I already had both this wool of the Andes Sport and this Oh Dang Olive Ole in my stash, and then paired with this. So I think it's like a slightly brighter green, and these are both kind of muted kind of tones, so I think they'll coordinate together. The sweater definitely I feel like has an overview of like whatever your suri or fuzz is, so I think this will be a nice kind of pop but still coordinate. So this is going to be my tessellated. So these have taken me a very long time to spin. I haven't been spinning much. I'm also spinning very finely on these. So I did get labels, so I like labeled this is bobbin 1 and the date that I finished it. This is bobbin 2. I bought 3 braids of this. So I'm going to do 6 bobbins. I'm doing half a braid per bobbin. And then my plan was to ply 1 and 6 together, 2 and 5, and then 3 and 4. So that my oldest and my newest, those will probably have like the biggest difference. So I'm hoping plying them together, and then 2 and 5 would have like the second most difference, and then 3 and 4 should be the most similar. So that's kind of my thought with this. So I'd like to get 3 and 4 done, because then I can ply them, get them ready, and then I can swatch, and then I could start my sweater. And then once I finish 5, I could then work on the sweater at the same time that I'm finishing spinning. That's kind of my thoughts. So I really enjoyed this. You can definitely tell like this half has like a big brown section, and this one has orange, but I feel like the main overview is mostly green, and I feel like it's like enough different that it's gonna look okay. I'm pretty excited about this. So yeah, my sprints are helping me like get this done, get this stuff done and off my needles. And yeah, that's all of my works in progress that have progress. There are a few other things on the needles, specifically my corner to corner blanket, which I am excited to cycle into this 4x4. So maybe it'll be like a sweater, shawl, blanket. But that blanket will be after I finish these. The socks that I'm testing for Hoga Canyon are going to be in there. So it's shawl, sweater, socks right now. And then I'll replace the blanket. It's nice to kind of find, put something old. I can start something new. I'm enjoying it. As you can probably tell by me, blabbing on about it. I don't know, having like a set boundary for myself is helpful. But anyway, that's all of the stuff I have to show. So we'll move into the acquisition section, and then we'll move into the year stash stuff. So for acquisitions, the main yarn that I have is I got my Homespun House Patreon set from July. I am in love with this sock set so much. It's so gorgeous. So this is the color Slip and Slide. And then we have a mini skein. Gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. I love this color. It's like a mauvey kind of background, but then beautiful speckles. I want to start this. I have so many socks I want to knit. So I love this, but then I also got my mini skeins, and these are vibrant and fun this month. So they are bright, bright, bright and beautiful. So the colors are Slumber Party, Scream, and Drive Through. Gorgeous. I also got this new embroidery kit. It's a little moth, but they're all stitch samplers, so on the outside it shows you all the different stitches that you need to make this moth. I'm excited to work on this. I did get some moths for mending, and I have a shirt that I have a hole in that I want to mend a moth over, but I would like to apply some of these techniques, specifically the little fuzzy part here, onto that. So I'm probably going to do this first before I start my mending, and so I'll probably add this. I'll probably start this soon because it's small and cute. And small and cute. Sometimes you have to do something small. And then I also bought the newest line of publication. This is the book Observations, and so this is by Lotte Lotgren, is if it was German. I do not know if that is how her last name is said, but I'll just read the back to you. It is Knits and Essays from the Forest, a knitted walk through the forest in the seasons. This book is absolutely stunning. So the cover has an exposed binding, which is beautiful. And this book smells amazing. But the photography in this one is, to me, this is an iconic coffee table book. So it's just beautiful. Look at this. But in this book, there's also multiple essays, on this page, to read, to sit and read. But there's also the beautiful photography with the essays. And then there are patterns that then kind of go with the different seasons in the essays. So I'm really excited. I really only have skimmed over this. I'm excited to kind of sink my teeth in and see what these essays are about. I did flip through to see if the patterns are things that I think I would knit, and they definitely are. So I added this. There's a ton of color work. Beautiful. So as I'm itching to find a new sweater to start, I might look in here to see if there's one that I'm itching to cast on. But I'm very excited. This is a little more pricey of a line of publication, to be honest. I was a little surprised at the cost of it, but with all the essays, and the photography is literally beautiful. It is going to be sitting on my coffee table for a little while, for sure, through this fall. And this binding detail is beautiful. So that is also one of my acquisitions for this week. And so then we're going to get into my stats for August. So every month I like to see how much yarn I get in versus the amount that I get out, and August was a good month. So last month I brought in 4 skeins of yarn. That's it. I brought in my Yarnable box, 2 skeins from Ginger Snap, and then that Homespun House yarn. So only 4 skeins in, but I did get 19 skeins out. 12 of those are from my festival sweater, and then I had many pairs of socks that I finished, which really, really helped. So 19 skeins out. I did also destash 1 skein of yarn, bringing my month to a negative 16 skeins, and then my year to date I'm at a negative 7. So I'm pretty close to the amount I started the year, but at least I'm at a negative. And I feel like I'm doing really well working through my stash. And then we'll move into the community stats for the year of Stash KAL. This past month, you guys entered in 66 different projects, and we'll run the slideshow now of all of your works in progress, or all of your finished objects from the year of Stash KAL. So yeah, you guys have some beautiful entries this month. I hope you enjoyed the slideshow. This past month, like I mentioned, there were 66 entries. With that, you guys got 106 skeins and 63 mini skeins, bringing the year-to-date totals to 1,385 skeins out this year and 505 mini skeins. If you'd like to enter, all you have to do is use the Google form linked down below, and there's an entry form for you to get all the information about. But thank you guys so much for participating as always. And with this, I love to draw a random winner every month. So from our 66 entries this month, I picked a random winner with a random number generator, and our random winner is number 65, which is Julie W. or Burrow Knitter on Ravelry. They actually did not submit their photo, which is totally fine, but I was able to find you on Ravelry and the projects that you linked. This is your Christmas fence post socks. The yarn is so cute. It uses like this Christmassy yarn with this stitch texture. It's so stunning. I would never think to like pair this variegation yarn with this like sock pattern. It's so gorgeous. So I have the photo. I'm sure you're looking at it, but Julie W. Burrow Knitter, you are the winner. Hi friends, it is Editing Kristen again. So my camera battery died at the end of this, and so then I switched to recording on my phone, and then I uploaded it to my computer and tried to get it over, and I got the audio but no video, and so then I tried transferring the file another way to my computer, and it was the same thing. So hi, I'm ending the video. Julie, please reach out to me on Ravelry or Ravelry or email to claim your prize. Send me your shipping address. We'll get your prize sent out to you. And then for everyone else, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending time with me today. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. That way you can see all my future videos, and liking helps us find other knitters as well. If you would like to help with these giveaways, please consider donating to my Ko-Fi account. You can do a one-time membership or a monthly membership, and those financial donations help with the giveaways, getting prizes, and all that kind of cost, getting those covered. So if you're a Ko-Fi member, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you've ever donated on Ko-Fi, I also appreciate you so much, but I appreciate all of you for watching and spending a little bit of time with me today. You got a little different view of my office today. Again, thank you for dealing with this, Editing Kristen. I don't know what happened. I've lost my second camera battery, so normally that's what I do when I run out of battery, but I can't find it. So here we are. Like I said, happy knitting. I hope you put a little bit of love in every stitch of your knitting or making while watching this today, and I'll see you guys again in a couple weeks.